Johnny Frost is a low-level street thug in Gotham City. Johnny's not a bad person. He doesn't enjoy hurting people. But he's also not a particularly good person either. And when push comes to shove, he'll do whatever he needs to survive. Because at the end of the day, that's what Johnny is. A survivor. But Johnny doesn't just want to survive. He wants to live. He wants something more. Something greater. He wants to make a name for himself. A legacy. Something that'll last long after he's dead and buried. This is a lot easier said than done, especially in a place like Gotham City, where making a name for yourself isn't just hard, it's dangerous. And Johnny knows that. Nevertheless, when the opportunity of a lifetime falls into Johnny's lap, he doesn't hesitate. The Joker, Gotham's notorious clown prince of crime, is being released from Arkham Asylum. He isn't escaping. They're letting him go. He's somehow convinced the doctors that he's sane, and they've deemed him no longer a threat to society. Seeing this as his opportunity, Johnny volunteers and becomes the Joker's new chauffeur. The Joker takes an immediate liking to Johnny and makes him his new right-hand man. Johnny believes he's finally made it, but in reality, he's just made a deal with the devil himself, and what happens next is nothing short of pure hell. Joker is a dark, unsettling reinterpretation of the clown prince of crime set outside the main DC continuity. Written by Brian Azzarello and illustrated by Lee Bermeo, Joker is a brutal story containing moments that some viewers may find disturbing. Discretion advised. If this comic looks familiar to you and you're not sure why, that's probably because you may have read or maybe even heard about its sequel, Batman Damned. In fact, I actually covered Damned a few months ago on this very channel. Now, you may be wondering why I made these videos out of order. I mean, if I was planning on covering both stories, why not just do them in chronological order? That would have made more sense, right? And, that's a fair question. And I guess the only thing I can really say to that is, shut up and watch the video. Anyway, this is Joker. While the Joker was gone, his criminal empire was split among his former henchmen. They all believed that he was gone for good and took what was left for themselves. Now that the clown prince of crime is free, his first order of business is to take his empire back piece by bloody piece. The comic never explains how he managed to convince the doctors he wasn't insane anymore. From the moment we see him, he's clearly still out of his mind. Maybe it was all part of an elaborate escape plan. Tricked the doctors into thinking he was cured until they cut him loose. Still, given the fact that it's the Joker, it's really hard to believe they release him so easily. Joker has Johnny to take him to see Waylon Jones, better known as Killer Croc. Croc asks Joker how he managed to convince the doctors he was sane, but the Joker remains silent. After all, a good magician never reveals his tricks. He tells Croc that he's planning on taking back his criminal empire. There's just one small problem. He's broke, and he needs Croc's help getting his money back. For his cooperation, Joker promises Waylon a nice tasty meal. Rabbit, Croc's favorite. Johnny drives Croc and the clown to the Grin and Bear It strip bar, which used to be owned by the Joker until one of his former henchmen named Monty took it over. Monty tries to hide his fear and welcomes the Joker back from Arkham. We see Harley hanging by the bar, being uncharacteristically quiet. The Joker tells Monty he's got nothing to worry about and has been doing a good job running the bar. He orders a couple of rounds for everyone. As the party goes on, Harley gets on stage and starts strip dancing for Croc and the rest of his crew. She slips on her mask and beckons Monty over to her. The Joker takes him by the shoulder and leads him to the back. A little while later, after everyone's good and drunk, Monty comes stumbling on stage. Johnny's had a few too many and can't see that well. As his vision begins to clear, we can see that Monty has been skinned alive. His body stripped bare, every inch of flesh peeled away to reveal the raw, red muscle beneath. The audience starts to panic. Some even throw up. All except for Croc, who just licks his lips as he eyes his next meal. The quote-unquote rabbit Joker promised him.
Friends, I'm very, very distressed. You can see it on my face, I'm sure. When I went away, I thought I was leaving my city in capable hands. But it seems other hands have taken it from me. And you know what these other hands did? They loosened their belts around their fat waists and took a dump. In my city, my sandbox, mine. Gotham belongs to me. So who here wants to help me take it back?
Yeah, Johnny does. There are a lot of people who are not very happy the Joker's back, most of all being Harvey Dent. Since Joker's been away, Two-Face has become the top criminal in Gotham. With the Joker being a free man now, he he's likely going to try and make a move on Harvey. Two-Face needs to make a move on the Joker now, before the Joker can make one on him. The next day, Johnny drives Joker to the bank so he can rob it. He comes back only after a few minutes with a duffel bag stuffed with money. He asks Johnny to get rid of a picture for him. The picture is of the bank president's little daughter. It's a harmless photo, at least it should be, but Johnny feels his stomach turn. The Joker never explains why he has this picture, but Johnny's pretty sure he can piece it together. After the bank job, Joker meets with the Penguin, who he calls Abner for some weird reason that never really gets explained. He strong-arms the Penguin to investing his money for him. Later that night, when Johnny walks into his apartment, he finds a man in a trench coat ransacking through his stuff. Johnny tries to pull his gun, but he isn't fast enough. This man is a cop on Harvey Dent's payroll. Harvey knows he can't make a move on the Joker yet, so he decides to go after his new right-hand man. The cop finds exactly what he was looking for: divorce papers. Since Johnny's last stint in jail, he's been going through a messy breakup with his ex-wife Shelley. Johnny has kids too and needs to pay child support, but if the court knew how Johnny made his money, he'd never be able to see his kids again. The cop lets Johnny off with a warning this time, but he tells him he'll be seeing him again real soon. The next day, the Joker goes on a killing spree, taking out every one of his former henchmen who stole his money. In the span of only a few days, the Joker has taken back nearly his entire empire. Now the only thing standing in his way of total control is Two-Face. Joker visits the Penguin to see how his money is doing. The Penguin tells Joker that Harvey isn't happy about his actions of late and sees them as a declaration of war. Joker tries calling Harvey on the phone to broker some peace, but when he ignores the Joker's call, the clown becomes irate and starts smashing the phone with a baseball bat. He then kills one of his henchmen for no good reason. It sets the Grin and Bear It bar on fire. If it's a war Two-Face wants, then the Joker's going to give him one. Later, when the gang go back to the Joker's penthouse, Johnny hears what sounds like crying, finds the Joker on his knees, sobbing while holding on to Harley. The whole scene is so bizarre that Johnny doesn't really know what to make out of it. But one thing he does know for sure is that it scares the shit out of him. The next morning, while at a diner, Johnny's accosted by the cop again. He detains Johnny and brings him to Harvey's office. Two-Face warns him that the Joker will eventually kill him, like he did all his right-hand men, and he'll laugh while he does it, because for the Joker, death is the punchline. Johnny asks Two-Face why he's warning him in the first place. Harvey tells him that when the time comes, he'll understand. After his meeting with Two-Face, Johnny heads over to the Joker for a meeting and gets a kick in the balls for being late. The Joker is meeting with the Riddler, who in this universe is a disabled arms dealer. Riddler hands Joker a briefcase. We don't know what's inside of it yet, but whatever it is, the Joker paid a lot of money for it. On their way back from the meet, the Joker's crew is attacked by some off-duty cops on Harvey's payroll. They cause Johnny's car to flip, leaving the Joker severely wounded. He tries escaping through the alleyway and runs into the same cop from Johnny's apartment. The cop aims his gun at the Joker when suddenly there was a blast, but the Joker wasn't hit. At the very last second, Johnny made it to the alley and shot the cop through the head, saving the Joker's life. He collapses and falls into the Joker's arms. The next morning, when Harvey walks out to grab the paper, he looks up to find the cop tied to a tree with a giant bullet hole in the middle of his forehead and a hideous smile carved across his face. After this, Joker goes on a full rampage, torching Two-Face's businesses and executing his men, until finally Harvey calls him and asks for a truce. They meet at the Gotham Zoo, where after some tense words between the two, Two-Face reveals that he had a meeting with Frost that he had never told the Joker about. This is when Harvey reveals the ace he's had up his sleeve the whole time. He has Johnny's ex-wife, Shelley, as a hostage. And to make matters worse, he forced her to marry him. Well, at least one of the Harveys married her. Throughout this comic, we see this kind of split personality going on with Harvey. This has always been a component to his character, but here it's much more prominent. While Harvey too married Shelley, the other Harvey's been married to another woman for years now. Joker reveals that inside his briefcase is undeniable proof of these two simultaneous marriages. If this information reached the prosecutor's office, all of Harvey's legitimate businesses would be shut down. Since bigamy, being secretly married to more than one person, is often tied to tax evasion, and the legal fallout would destroy him. Two-Face tries to call for backup to take the Joker out, but the clown slashes at Harvey's wrists with shards of broken glass jammed into his fingertips. All of Dent's men raise their guns, and seconds later they'll get shot in the head by Harley wearing a gorilla costume. The Joker had everything planned. He grabs Harvey by the collar and drags him in front of a baboon's cage. After scaring the crap out of him, Joker slashes the baboon across the face and tells Harvey that from now on, he's going to be the Joker's personal cash register. The war is over, and the Joker has won. As they begin to walk away, the Joker tells Johnny to grab his lady. This brings us to the single most shocking scene in this whole comic. On the way back from the confrontation, Joker assaults Shelley in the backseat of Johnny's car while he makes Johnny drive. He says this makes them now equal, for Johnny not telling him about his meeting with Two-Face. After this, Joker takes Johnny on a joyride throughout Gotham, First, he murders a liquor store clerk and steals all his alcohol. Then he breaks into an elderly couple's apartment and slaughters them with a straight razor, and then lays in their bloody bed. This is when Johnny realizes the mistake he's made. All he wanted to do was make a name for himself. All he's gotten so far is hell. Outside the window, the Joker spots the bat symbol, illuminating the night sky. With nowhere left to turn, and afraid for his life, Harvey paints a bat symbol on the spotlight and begs Batman for help. He says that the Joker told him he found a way to only kill one of the Harveys, leaving the other one by himself. When the Joker and Frost head back to the apartment, they see a window busted, which means Batman already got to Harley. They head over to Croc's hideout, but surprise, surprise, Batman beat them to it. He's already subdued Croc and his crew. Suddenly, the duo hears something moving on the roof. Batman is right on their trail. They make a run for it and make it to the bridge. For some strange reason that he can't explain, Johnny starts laughing uncontrollably. It looks like they may actually make it out, when suddenly, the Joker backhands Frost across the face, knocking him to the ground. Batman comes gliding down, and Joker uses Johnny like a human shield.
Ugh, God, you disgust me. You have no charm at all. Just obviousness. Dumb. Dull. Disappointing. Obvious. Shame on you. Ah! Ha! You wear your shame like a badge because you don't have the balls to actually pin one on. Yes, just look at you. Desperate to be feared. You want to be perceived as a monster draped in black, and yet you leave that little window. A glimpse at the perfection underneath. Obvious. The chiseled good looks, not the jaw, the mouth of a monster. Why do you let it be seen? Tell me why.
To mock you. Enraged, the Joker fires his gun, shattering Johnny's jaw, and sends him sprawling to the ground. As Batman and the Joker begin to fight, Johnny begins to lament over his life and his time with the Joker. My name is Johnny Frost, but I don't need to tell you that, do I? You know I'm somebody. I'm on top of the world looking down. You know what I see? Do you want to know what I see? I see you, a disease, one that's been around longer than Gotham, the city infected. A disease that's older than any city. Hell, it's probably the same disease that built the first one. There will always be a Joker, because there's no cure for him. No cure at all. Just a Batman. What really hooks you into this comic is how up close and personal we get with the clown himself. Most Batman stories keep us at arm's length from the Joker. We watch him clash with Batman, do something heinous, and then get locked up. But here, we're shoved into the passenger seat right next to him. One of Azzarello's smartest choices was to let someone else narrate the Joker's story. That way, we can never be sure what he's thinking, or what he'll do next, keeping us on the edge of our seat the entire way through. Through Johnny's eyes, we experience the full weight of the Joker's madness, his charisma, and his complete disregard for human life. One of the standout elements of Joker is Lee Bermejo's artwork. His hyper-realistic, almost photographic style gives the story a sense of weight and realism, making the violence feel more intimate and personal. The only minor drawback is that the art occasionally shifts from Bermejo's hyper-realistic style to a more traditional comic book style, sometimes in a way that feels a bit jarring. We don't see the Joker do anything in this comic that he hasn't done before, but for some reason it just feels much more sinister here. Azzarello wanted to make the Joker scary again. He wanted to strip away all the glitz and humorous elements and show how truly terrifying it would be if someone like the Joker existed in real life. Instead of an over-the-top crazy clown, he's played completely straight. He's a bipolar psychopath who'll try and kill you one minute and break down in tears in the next. Azzarello somehow manages to humanize and demonize the Joker all at once. Batman barely appears in the story, only showing up in a handful of scenes, yet his limited presence actually works very well, because it highlights how dominant and terrifying the Joker is on his own. Batman doesn't steal the spotlight here. He's almost an afterthought, arriving only to confront the chaos the Joker has already brought. This is a story about how far one man can manipulate, corrupt, and control the people around him, and it makes the Joker feel like an unstoppable force. Right in the middle of this vortex is Johnny Frost. As a character, Johnny doesn't really have much going for him. He's essentially a blank slate. He starts out as a man just trying to make a name for himself in a world he barely understands. But everything changes the moment he falls into the Joker's orbit. Suddenly, Johnny's thrust into a world of chaos and violence he can't control, and his sense of right and wrong starts to slip. It isn't until the Joker assaults Johnny's ex-wife Shelley where he finally understands the hell he's put himself in and realizes it's too late to get out. Being near the Joker doesn't just change Johnny, it corrupts him. Every choice he makes is influenced by someone who thrives on chaos. It's a reminder that in Gotham, making a name for yourself often comes at the cost of your own soul. By the end, we're left thinking about how even someone with the best intentions could be swallowed up by this chaos. Joker is a dark, uncompromising story that shows us a darker and grittier Gotham, and one of the most terrifying portrayals of the Clown Prince of Crime we've ever seen. If you made it this far into the video, I'm going to ask that you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, because there's plenty more like it to come. If you'd like to support me, then please consider checking out the Patreon. If you become a member, then you get access to a bunch of awesome features, like all my videos early, access to our exclusive channel Discord, and a shout out at the end of every video. Speaking of, I'd like to give a shout out to every name on the screen. I couldn't do this without you guys. And yeah, pretty much it. See ya.